The King of Curses has finally made his return. And in only 2 pages, this man has me all sorts of tight. I am not gonna hold you. Freaking aliens have been scaring the hoes. And you're telling me you knew that this would happen the entire time. Bro, I have been coping to my 3 shareholders about how you're probably downing a bottle of Jack in Malaysia and had no idea about an alien invasion before the 1-month time skip. In my chapter 15 analysis, I vouched for you, gang. I told my guys Wee chose this date in particular because he knew you'd be in the Inhuman market on January 14th and you'd make an entrance in the next 4 chapters, so thank you for being on time at least. But you knew to pull up to headquarters first because, and I quote, I knew this would happen. Yo, am I reading this wrong, or did this man have more than a day's notice of the Cimerians? Hey, long live the king and long may he reign. But we gotta call your ass out on some bullshit, dawg. If you told me that this man has been bunking inside the Tomb of the Star this entire time, I don't know at this point. I know what you're probably thinking. I am victim blaming. We can all agree Yuji has every right to feel the way he does. Our boy has been doomed from the start. Yuji told Sukuna that we're both born with a curse. So Choso did not neglect to tell Yuji about their father during off-screen Kaisen. To this day, he probably still does not comprehend just how screwed he was from birth, as he was bred to be the king of all curses. Unlike his grandfather who chose this life, Yuji did not. I get that. But to understand why Yuji has me all sorts of tight right now, we first gotta discuss Yuta's patricidal son Iori Okotsu. See, Iori had a problem. He is a practical thinker and left no stone unturned, much like his father. He correctly identified the feeble states of Jujutsu society as the passing of his parents' generation would be a matter of national security. As of January 14, 2087, Iori was right. In fact, this bothered him so much he reportedly fell into a deep depression. This is not the kind of worrying you do when you're one of them ones and are blessed like his parents were. See, Iori is a regular human and he carries the guilt of being weak. Being born to Yuta and Maki Okotsu, there was only a 1 in 3,000 chance the baby would be regular. Iori was that one. After winning the reverse lottery, Iori could not escape feeling like a failure to his insanely blessed bloodline. But being diligent, Iori did the only thing he felt he could do and passed down Yuta and Maki's genes to the next generation and hoped for the best. When both Tsurugi and Yuka were born, Iori felt he had fulfilled his role, but not before getting into what seemed like a heated argument with his uncle. Regardless of what started the altercation, Yuji said it does not matter how strong yours or the next generation is simply because I exist. I am here and I will continue to persist long after yours and the next generation are gone. I love to see that Yuji has not changed much, as this was a genuine attempt to ease his nephew's anguish. Having birthed the next Maki and Yuta, Iori disappeared from Jujutsu society. At least before he could tell himself he had a role to play in order to swallow his anguish. The irony of Yuta's son succumbing to Ghetto's isolation wrapped in a Toji package with none of the muscles is not lost on me. Yuta knew Iori was right at the end of the day. As if to atone for his son's anguish, having been unable to pass on his blessings to Iori. After Maki passed away, he severed Dika's soul from his own and left it behind for his son and his descendants, causing a sudden decline in his health as he passed away from curse technique removal. See, that right there is one of the reasons why Yuji has got me hot. First of all, your nephew was right, but you weren't trying to hear any of that. Second, what does it matter to Jujutsu society if you're the strongest deterrent to ever walk the earth if you're barely around to deter a damn thing? So which is it, my boy? Does it truly not matter because you're on top of things? Where I'm sitting, it looks like it matters to me because you're not on top of shit. Now, am I gaslighting myself over something we don't know? Probably, since we don't know the full context of the conversation yet. But if y'all can accuse Iori of making a binding vow with Mahito that gave Yuka cancer, then I can accuse Yuji of gross incompetence and gaslight myself and you over it. But you know what, I'll give our boy some grace until he explains where he's been and how long he's known what's been going on. If he found out even a day before the door, I'ma be on this man's ass for real. Because on his watch, Jujutsu Society reverted back to its old ways, where they placed the weight of the world on a little girl's shoulders, sending her out to fight a battle she cannot hope to win, hoping her death will reveal a solution to the problem. It's plenty embarrassing already. Yuka tasted death even temporarily over this on his watch. It's not like Yuji's afraid of any of these motherfuckers either. If Yuji walked into a room with Gojo and Sukuna in their prime on some Sendai colony type timing, only Yuji is walking out of that room. Alright bro, let me chill before I crash out. Gege's pen is on fire right now and there's a lot to unpack in this chapter. We'll start with the elephant in the room. This is not the same Yuji Itadori we knew. Let me ask you some. When did we ever see Gojo or Yuta deal friendly fire? The first thing and only a handful of pages in his first chapter back, Yuji has hurt more humans than all the Cimmerians put together. This is the same guy who washed his hands compulsively after the Shibuya incident, trying to wipe off the blood of tens of thousands. A couple of transfigured humans were Yuji's first body, so I won't read too much into it, but Megumi went out of his way to allow Culling Game players to transfer points just so Yuji won't have to take people's lives. Megumi wasn't playing around in the Culling Game and took no prisoners. He was just straight demon. I don't think any sorcerer had reservations about taking lives besides Yuji and Takaba. Fast forward 2087, we're staring at Yuji commit casual small-scale Jujutsu terrorism. I know he did not intend to fatally wound anybody, but I need to know what happened during this past 20 years. Yuji used to have a profound fear regarding the value of human life. If he looked at things a certain way or the choice of killing came into his life, then the value of the lives closest to him may become vague. I'll say the value of the lives in that building looked pretty vague to me. This Yuji we're seeing seems to have crossed over to the other side in that respect. Blonde girl from headquarters may be his late best friend's granddaughter and he just poisoned her along with the whole building just to get their attention. The most heartbreaking change is whereas before Yuji saw the value in every moment of human life regardless of what we do with it. As people are not born with roles and they do not define our intrinsic value. But in the end, Yuji did not value the time he had left with Yuta and Nobara above the pain losing them would cause. Remember the good old days when if it was only pain there was no stopping Yuji Itadori? Yeah, them is gone now. Gege was trying to mentally prepare us for something with that little tiger plotline at the beginning of Modulo. I was not prepared for this, I'll give you that. Who Yuji Itadori needs right now more than anybody is his grandfather, the Omen Sukuna. But since that is no longer an option, we'll settle for the next best thing. The one who will teach Yuji Itadori about love is Yuka Okotsu. Yuji always had a screw loose, but he did not get a kick out of fighting like his sensei and the Omen Sukuna. I mean, I barely recognize the man I'm looking at now, so let's say he did not enjoy it last time I checked. Yuji will be the one to clear Karaba's skies, sure. But Yuji's loneliness is more pervasive than combat can ever hope to reach. Even though Yuji has never enjoyed fighting except that one time alongside Todo. After hitting his first Black Flash, he was high on his own potential. It's kind of funny this little detail got swept under the rug because Yuji truly wasn't himself that day. He got swallowed by Todo's wavelength, and if Gege's pen back then was at the level it's at today, it'd be Hanami and Yuji hitting the Jack and Rose poses. Given Yuji's special circumstances, I believe he'll enjoy battle unabashedly for the first time. Yuji Itadori is what Kaido, King of the Beasts, thinks he is. Being unable to die naturally and being stronger than every creature that can end him unnaturally, our boy is living Satoru's worst nightmare. Karaba will no doubt make him feel alive for the first time in over 60 years, but that won't be enough for him to realize how he betrayed Nobara and Yuta. And those are the only ones of his friends we know of. I'll make a video on why Yuka Okotsu will be the one to save Yuji in a separate video after I drop part 2 of Kenjaku's magnum opus next. My guy Zukara Joe is waiting for a Yuka upscale, but homegirl is certified already if you ask me. She is currently engaged in the process of teaching Karaba about love. I mean, she's got the man doing schizophrenic salsa dances, zesty Titanic poses and shit. When Modulo wraps up, Yuka Okotsu will have taught two grown-ass men, greedy idiots really, about love and the passion for life. The main character Glaze is coming crazy for the Okotsu siblings. Speaking of, this chapter pretty much confirms Yuji can output RCT, because he wouldn't poison to incapacitate everyone in this building with this blood if he could not heal them once he was done plopping his big kalyan balls menacingly on the table. Again, excessive use of force. There were so many other ways to get your immediate attention. Taking off the jacket for one would flag the entire inhuman Makyo with 20 fingers worth of cursed energy. Not to mention Yuji's cursed energy properties are similar to Sukuna's, so he reeks of Satan himself. Take that musty jacket off and nobody's gonna move a muscle, bro. If keeping a low profile was that important to him, he could have dismantled the building right between the two factions if he wanted to. There were better non-lethal ways of going about it in Yuji's arsenal. But what if I told you Gege chose these particular circumstances to address what we've all been thinking? Honestly, it does not matter to me either way, because like I said once, two things on this earth a man gotta do by himself. He's gotta do his own believing and he's gotta do his own dying. So on this channel, we've been said that Cimmerians are interstellar variants of humans, and Kalyan are interstellar variants of cursed spirits. If Mahito is the cursed spirit of humans, Yuji Itadori is the Kalyan of humans. Both Yuji's IMU speeches have aged like the finest milk, I am not gonna hold you. Our boy went 2 for 2 in his reverse lottery bag with those, as he went on to become a humanoid curse similar to Mahito, and also embody the king of curses both literally and figuratively more than his grandfather ever did. Oski is in for the shock of his life, and I am excited to see how he reacts to an actual flesh and blood Kalyan, and what this means for the duel currently going on. There's no avoiding this plot thread any longer, as one of the humans Yuji poisoned is about to blow the whole thing wide open as they comment on the non-human blood afflicting them. One of them probably has RCT and will fail to heal themselves completely, sparking more confusion in the room when Yuji reveals himself. Oski does not need any hints because I believe he'll hear the voices of Yuji's brothers. Yuji just cannot hear them the same way Tengen could not hear the voices of star plasma vessels. After chapter 20, it will be undeniable that Yuji is the true Kalyan. The only question is how Oski, Dabura, and the other Cimmerians will take this. Besides their religious reservations, how will they digest the possibility Karaba may not be able to win? I didn't like Oski at first, but seeing him genuinely frustrated for Cross in the past few chapters has earned my respect, not gonna lie. We originally predicted he and Dabura would leverage any excuse afforded to them to backdoor the humans. Even though this may also be the case, there is also some genuine emotion behind how he went about it. I respect a man who can put aside personal beef when an outsider presses an up from across the street. If there are no Oski fans in the world, then I must have died, for sure. As far as I'm concerned, rumble young man, rumble. My modular videos are paying dividends big time because they've been so accurate. I've been able to focus on new recipes for y'all. I wasn't even planning on dropping anything modulo unless something crazy happened, as it did. But ultimately, there isn't much that was revealed that we have not already discussed. The King of Curses has not healed his ring finger, so he is still married to the game. Shout out to my man's Primate who brought this to my attention. The allegory of the queen consuming the King of Curses' ring finger in an unholy marital ceremony was an insane catch. This chapter also confirmed Dika has an awakened state Tsurugi is yet to tap into. I don't think Yuji has gotten past his grief for Yuta, sure, but I believe Yuta told Yuji about his plan for Dika. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the straw that broke the camel's back given how close those two were. We have let the Gojo clan's prodigal son slide on a lot in Modulo. Keep an eye out for Yuji's intervention and why Yuka Okotsu will be the one to teach him about love and true strength once more. Catch me on the next one, gang.